So that whole first part of the morning, ace of discs, I have this whole thing circled as a correlation, ace of discs. Usually it's a decline to an important support level, so this support right here will be an important one. All right, so I highlighted that as ace of discs. That'd be that retest, and right around the bottom here, I bought a call. It was at 112. Wow, that was pretty well timed. Wow. So 112, I purchased it. It already moved a little bit higher, but I notated that as the queen of, or noted that at the start of that move as the Queen of Wands out of the low, and you can see we have Queen of Wands out of the low, and then we fall from that high. We have that high very briefly, easily missed indolence card, and now what we should see is another rally into the close. We may very well see a high. We may very well, I mean, it's possible that we see a high for the day. I'd be surprised because it's a bearish theme card, but we're getting close, you know? Sometimes that'll happen. Attempt to break through resistance that we previously tested and failed, so like, it's likely one of these two here. That failed attempt, right? I don't think we're going to go all the way up here. At least not during normal trading hours. I mean, it is a high correlator, right? And the thing, oh gosh. Matter of fact, it might be a day's high because even though we've got this bearish, it's the Princess of Cups in the high position means that even if it was this high, even if this ends up being the day's high, it means that there's a higher price level in the near future, making the decline off of the high an opportunity to open up a long position, which I did down here. And so that it would make sense that we would at least, we're going to see a higher level than that. So even down here, we may end up seeing a high at the end of the day. We've got a good, good 40 minutes. A lot can happen. It's possible. If this was a bearish card here in the post market, I'd be a lot less inclined to think of it as possible. Because sometimes the bearish card, or excuse me, sometimes the post-market card will end up the high correlator and the post-market card, that behavior will end up being like the following day, or like overnight or something. Sometimes happens. Hey Edward, how are you? Welcome. Anything you're interested in looking at? Huh. Strength card on the 11th. I'm just surprised that we didn't see a high here. But I guess, you know, those expectations came out of retrograde, so they're going to be a little skewed out, I guess. We did have that big pop early in the week. I just expected it towards the end of the week, I mean early in the month. We had it in the first week as expected. I expected it in the end of the week more so. Anyhow, there's like some sort of price swinging going on here over like the next day, maybe day and a half. Hey, Philip. Yeah, I did. How about you, man? You have a good weekend? So I was just saying that there is a good shot. It's funny because somebody asked me for clarity if we were going to end up in the red or the green at the end of the day. And I said red thinking, well, it'd be funny if I'm wrong today. Sometimes I wish I just keep my thoughts from not thinking. Anyhow, so there's a good shot. There's a good shot that we see a higher price level than we did in the open. Being that the open was the high, and we have the Princess of Cups in the high position. It'd probably be overnight if it happened or the following day, but this is kind of like a maybe card. The luxury card's kind of like a maybe card. I am advised to trade tomorrow, so my guess is that based on the fact I opened up a long position here around 112-ish, that I'll be wanting to close that. I don't know. There's a chance we could have a high at the end of the day today, but I still think it's unlikely. So tomorrow you can see the high tomorrow. This is much more fitting for a high. It's good to relax, my man. That's how I went this weekend as well. I did a bunch of readings Thursday and Friday. I don't even know, man. I must have done like 40 readings. Started them, and then I recorded all of the dailies for November. All the remaining. And then after that, like Saturday, Sunday, I was chilling. Need a break sometimes, you know? Since they're out of the money calls, which I won't tell you guys strike prices anymore because I feel like people are following my ridiculous strike prices. and it's very speculative. Like, you have to be very quick. So I'll just tell you, I bought out of the money calls today, and I'll probably sell them around the open, and then buy puts here in the midst of like this big spike we have midday. Yeah, seeing the low is nullified. Interesting. So even though we move out of the low, we turn resistance and support into support. Like, that could be a notable move. There's a lot of price movement midday here. I also starred this day for whatever reason. At the time, it seemed like something was telling me to start it, so you know that's significant in itself. Yeah, see, this is more likely because if it was going to break through like and have a new high at the end of the day, we wouldn't have had I mean, the moon card, it's possible because it can be bearish price swings, but it's usually a pretty sharp drop. There's bearish price swings and a sharp drop, but the fact is it would have been a bullish card if we were going to have a high at the end of the day. And we've got this failed attempt to break through key resistance. Usually what that means is that, like, see, we've like kind of like established support, sort of, and we hit this resistance. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong chart. Sorry, guys. I do that. So, you know, you see here, we established support. We tested it, retested it, right? And in the midst of doing that, we tested a resistance level, and we failed the first time. But because it looks like we established support, people would be expecting us to break out when we retest it and create a bullish, you know, creating technical bullish behavior. But it's a failed attempt because we turn around and we decline through key support. But as far as tomorrow's open, likely it's somewhere around where we close. And I am advised to be cautious about the trade today or tomorrow. I'm thinking that the high may be towards the end of the day rather than midday. That could be what this caution is correlated to the high. It's caution there. So, and then there's a lot of price moving here towards the early afternoon, and then we have a high correlator at the end of the day, and what could be a high reverse clairvoyant anchor. So maybe even though it's the cards are saying earlier, the caution is telling me, no, be careful. There's another high at the end of the day. Or maybe we fall pretty hard from that high. We'll see. But I bought the calls right around 312 or 112, excuse me. So I was a little bit late there by like 2 minutes. Not bad if you ask me. I was watching here and I was like, you know, right, it's hitting this resistance. That's probably where it turns around, and look at that. I was 100% correct. And so what we did is we rallied up along the diagonal trend line. We broke through horizontal resistance, met a secondary resistance, right? So one, and then we met a secondary resistance, and we pulled back to somewhere between those two price levels. Had a lot of characters. I'm also picking up on, I don't know if I posted it yet on TikTok, but I'm picking up on, not market related, but I'm picking up on a serial killer. I crap you not. Like, they're caught or captured. I think probably before the end of the year, but definitely before the end of 2023. I'm thinking more so before the end of 2022, though. So that's good news, I guess, because they've got to exist. It's infinity, so if you got to hear about it, it's good that it's them being captured. I think it may be Florida. It's somewhere swampy that like, I don't know if that's where he lives or where he buries bodies or something, but there's a lot of swamp that comes up around it. Bayou keeps popping into my head. Like the actual word, like I hear it. Yeah, I know. I don't know, man. It's like, I just, they tell me things. What's heavy is I live in Florida. For all I know, they've been like visiting the same places that I visit, you know? How else do you pick up on that energy? Makes me a little weary. Um, I got a bunch of 2023s done as well as Novembers this weekend. Bunch of and a bunch of 10 years as well. I got a bunch of cryptos like Matic. Um, Actually, I've got Solana for November coming out. I've got Tron 10-year Vita Inu. Polkadot. Anything that you guys would like for me to look at? Wow, I just picked up on some stuff I did not want to pick up on. Wow. I'm gonna hold off on talking about it, and I'm gonna revisit it myself before I bring it up. I don't like to talk about negative predictions because you bring them to fruition. Um, Yeah, we'll take a look at the XRP and Bitcoin. I'm picking up on a nuke, guys. I'm picking up on a nuke. Like a nuke. I wouldn't say, based on what I'm seeing on the 1 year. So the thing about the 1 year, Hassan, is it's very broad. So like, this was all accurate. Each one of these. Sorry, I got to put this on the right screen. Here's the year, and the card on the left, the card on the right. They each represent about 2 weeks of the year. Right, and that's like very broad. So there's going to be cases where things are a little bit pushed out in time or a little bit truncated, and it looks like we're behind schedule. The sequence of events has been pretty on point. We were off at around June, July with it being a year's high, but there was a crest there, which sometimes will happen when you have a really strong like trend in one direction. Obviously, we've had a really strong trend direction to the downside, and so that kind of like nullified the high there. It just became a crest. But where we're at now, I think we probably see the rally that's at the end of the month kind of take place more so towards the beginning of November. So, I mean, there's a bit of a rally here for a lot of stocks, I think, towards the end of the month, like out of a significant drop over the weekend. We should have some swinging, and maybe the 24th and the 25th, possibly the 26th, and then a little bit like, I think for the S&P, it's not going to be so much of a rally, actually. It's going to be more like price swinging. It could be. Because we have here the end of a rally in November as well. I'm looking at November. I would definitely go by, Hassan, I would definitely go by the monthlies over the 1 year. The 1 year's been, I don't know, when we rated it, it's not going to be my most accurate reading. We'll say that. The spread that I utilized is an old spread that I don't use anymore for 1 year. I get a lot more detail and information from the new spread, but I did this so long ago that it was prior to me making that change. As far as calls, I couldn't tell you whether or not you should or shouldn't, because there's a lot more to it than just buying. Like, it really depends on your financial situation, what your, time horizon, risk tolerance. But I could tell you that what I'm picking up on is probably a similar kind of skew to what we had here in June, July. Where I'm seeing a move higher, but it may not be nearly as much of a move to the upside as I expected. And the thing is that we do have a high correlator, like a significant like a year-to-date high correlator. It may not be the highest high, but it'll be a significant high that stands out over like a significant amount of time, like maybe several months. This will be like the highest point, and that takes place in in December. Sorry. So there is some rallying. There is some rallying in November, but it's looking pretty choppy. When do they rally really hard? Out of the November low. Out of the November low. And there may be a rally at the end of the month here. It really depends on, when the sequence of events, when we get to like the 20th, if we're on time with the sequence of events, we're not like pushed back or pushed forward, then there's a chance that we have a little bit of a rally at the end of the month there out of a significant low. Yeah, see, there's a cash out opportunity at the high in November. And there's a cash out opportunity here at the end of this bit of a rally that looks like it's in October on the 1 year, but based on what I'm seeing, it may be the very end of the month, or it may be early in November. It's almost like there's a rally in November, but it doesn't really last, and we end up at some lows again. However, when I look at the 1 year, it doesn't look like we retest the same lows, to be clear. Hey, Raymond. So you're gonna, Raymond, do you mean by short put, do you mean that you're gonna sell a put? Because that's super, super risky. You should never do that. That's unlimited loss potential. Unless you have a put, you already own like the underlying stock. You don't want to have to go in and buy it at like whatever price it might go to. Never, I would never. It's called selling a naked put. That's super. You don't want to do that. I may misunderstand you. I'm not so worried. I'm not so worried, Block, about big in those. We may have not seen the bottom just yet. If we haven't seen the bottom in the S&P, we may not have seen it yet. But if we haven't seen the bottom in the S&P, then I would say that it's very likely going to be over that 20th to 25th kind of period. But if we don't hit it then I could say with a lot of certainty that we've already seen the bottom for the year. Do I see... Okay, but purchase another put for November 2nd. Based on the dailies, based on the dailies, it looks like the high tomorrow is a good opportunity to open up another put position. That's what well, I'm still holding mine, honestly. I didn't sell it. But if you're looking to open up again, so like we've got the Princess of Cups in the high position for today. That's super bullish. It means that we've got a higher price level in the near future, higher than the high of today. So a decline off of that price level, still a good opportunity to open up a long position. In other words, it's indicating that we're going higher. And then tomorrow we have, this is much more at home in the high significator position, the Princess of Wands, which is an opportunity to open up a short position in the midst of a rally. It correlates to the Ace of Wands. The Prudence card correlates to the high, and the trade card correlates to the high card correlates to the trade card. So what that, there's a lot indicating that I want to be cautious around the high, but I want to place a trade, and I think probably there's another high towards the very end of the day rather than midday. A lot of price movement midday. A lot of price movement towards the early afternoon to the upside. So in the midst of that rally, I'll be opening up another short position and selling the call that I purchased around the Queen of Wands low today. No, not in the U.S. The nuke, not in the U.S. It's a foreign explosion. Within like the next 9 months. But I'll tell you guys, my negative predictions have a significantly lower accuracy rate than my positive predictions. For whatever reason, I probably pre-paved that into my reality in a past life or something to protect myself against manifesting negativity. So I'm picking up on it, but there's chances that it kind of like I was picking up on a volcano quite a lot, like a big one, like Yellowstone. I don't think that that's going to happen. I haven't picked up on it in quite a bit. Hopefully that doesn't start picking up on it again. Oh, no, there's kind of like some swinging in Hassan, and I'll get to the crypto in just a minute. Block, sorry about that. But the end of the year is really looking like some up and down, up and down. There's a decent rally out of the low in November. And then there's another opportunity towards what looks to be the end of the November. Let me see here. Actually. I think the rally's probably like at the end of November into December. But if you can deal with some chop, I would be buying in on lows on these like drops that we see. If you can deal with some choppiness, like your risk tolerance isn't gonna like make you sell at the lows. We're either going to see the low for the year this month, or we've seen it already. That's the best thing I could give you, Hassan. Sorry, man. Okay, so that's really hard to say, Raymond. Like the reading says approximately in the midst of a rally, so we should have a move. There's a lot of choppiness, decline into the early morning, like open. A bunch of volatility, a fast sudden move out of that volatility, and then that like high or whatever, that first morning high is a brief one. We fall from that, there's declining, and then out of that decline in the middle part of the day, there's a significant rally. But the trade card is the prudence card, indicating to be cautious, and there are some things pointing towards a high more so at the end of the day with a lot of price movement in the early part of the afternoon. The high on this timing here is saying, the trade timing is saying, like here in the midst of like the early morning, like 11 to 12:45-ish rally. But I think that's probably why there's a prudence card here for whatever reason. Now, the correlations don't always line up exact, You know, it's only so many cards. You know, so many possibilities of correlation. So sometimes something like that will happen, and there are a lot of things saying that we move higher at the end of the day. So it's tricky. It's hard for me to say that, but I'll do it in the midst of a notable move to the upside, out of a drop. All right, XRP. Yikes. So this is XRP October. I mean, there's a pretty hard drop in here for XRP, but I mean, the drop in here is an opportunity to open up a long position. So, a high there. It looks like we rebound from a pretty strong decline. Let me open up XRP on a chart. Yeah, see that? We may retest the bottom. We may retest these price levels at the bottom this month. Where did it go? Yeah, November is much more bullish for XRP. So like if you're looking for yeah, XRP, I mean, I would be buying on any dips, dude, to be clear. If you want to get out and get back in, it's kind of risky, but yeah, there'll be a drop in October here. Looks like around this week, there's a pretty notable drop there, but then we also have this high correlator again, so I would say if I was going to get in on the long side, I'd probably wait till the 22nd, 23rd Might get another opportunity around the 26th, 27th, but I would be looking to get in on a decline here around the 22nd, 23rd. Yeah, and it looks like that yesterday or the first thing in the morning. What was it? That was yesterday. Yesterday was a good opportunity to get out if you were looking for a point to get out. Yeah, see, there's that. There's the abundance card, which in a lot of cases often indicates a notable high of some sort. So we have declining here into the end of the week. There is a rally on the 13th roughly. Looks like we bump up against resistance on the 13th. And then I wouldn't rule out a high on the 19th. I don't know if I put that in the prediction, but it wasn't marked as like a very. This is like a high probable point of a high. The 2nd and the 19th, both very high probable points of highs they were. So, you know, sometimes based on the overarching trend, there'll be a little bit of a skew. Oh, so you need XRP to drop? Yeah, I would wait until like the 22nd to buy again. Yes, I think if we're gonna see the 340 range, which I think we'll see, it's gonna be here in October. I'm talking about SPY now. It could be here, like over the somewhere midweek here, or maybe it could be the 14th. It's the 13th or the 14th. There's a low, right? And since we're already at these lows, chances are we go lower and we hit that 340 mark. And if we don't hit it there, we retest the same lows, which we're doing. Unlikely. I think we go lower. And then if we don't, then there's another very strong possibility of us doing so over like the 20th through the 26th-ish, somewhere in there. I don't think we go to 320 or 330. Oh yikes! Oh yikes! Yikes! We might go to 320. See, there's that failed attempt to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through key support. Right here. So here's here's the pattern that makes it look like we're gonna break. So this when I see the disappointment card, very often I see this pattern here, where you hit resistance, you come back down, you establish support, you go back up like you're gonna break through resistance. You may even do so momentarily, and then you turn around and you decline through support. That's the disappointment card. We should be looking at it on this one, sorry. Well, we have the gain card over the post market. Sometimes it ends up being like, there you go. See, still in the red. And I was able to determine what direction based on the theme card. Maybe I think I should be clearer with my wording maybe moving forward, because theme and overall behavior is like trend direction, right? So this was pretty on point day. And the reason why there's this high here, we didn't quite reach the high, but end of day is there's got to be a moment in the near future where we're higher than it. Looks like we probably open around the same price level that we close at, but then we decline from that, and then there's some volatility. All right, Philip, take care, my man. Yeah, you're welcome, Raymond. You're welcome, Block. All right, guys, if you have any other questions, let me know. I'm going to fill up my water. When I come back, I'll answer questions or I'll log. You're a good boy, you know. I know. Thank you. I love you too. You're the best. You're the best, you know. You're such a face slicker, man. What's the ticker for DraftKings? Let me see here. So you want to see what it's doing tomorrow, or you want a reading done by tomorrow? I don't understand. I'm unclear. What are you asking? Did you want just a daily reading, like what it's gonna do tomorrow? Okay, so I got DraftKings. There's a move. There's a big prominent move to the upside, followed by a full retracement of that move, and then the following card is a strong decline card. So it's probably making a peak, and then a sharp decline maybe the day after tomorrow. Alright, you know what? Give me a sec. You wanna go down, buddy? There you go. No barking, Hermes. I got that same decline card again, just by accident. So there's a breakout in the morning. Looks like we declined through a support level. All right, so DraftKings tomorrow looks like in the pre-market we declined through a support level, and then there's some like price swings around the open along a support level. We have a breakout early morning, and then there's a decline, and this is before noon. And then in the decline, there's an opportunity to open up a long position. We have the start of a rally around noon time. We reach a we establish a support level in mid-afternoon. There's an important price level that's highlighted in the last hour, like an important resistance level that's highlighted in the last hour and a half, let's say. And a bit of a decline there, somewhere around 3 o'clock or let's say 2:30-ish. But out of that decline, there's a fast sudden move to the upside. And then we probably have some sort of retracement the following day. I'm sorry to hear that, my man. Yeah, my readings were a bit off yesterday. Or last week, I should say. Yeah, sometimes I feel like that myself, man. I'm like, yeah, you just make money, do the opposite of me. Usually around retrograde, I feel that way. So that was DraftKings, and then Verizon. Verizon's looking like volatility. Big move early in the day. Ooh, geez, big move early in the day. Oh my gosh. Okay, so like a big rally early morning to reach a distant resistance level. This is Verizon. And then there's that distant resistance level is an opportunity to position oneself for a short position. We move higher through resistance. It's a significant high. It will stand out at least on a one-day chart, but possibly on more than a one-day chart. I haven't looked at Verizon. And that'll be before like noon time, around like 11 o'clock, and then there's a decline. So we go through resistance, we stay above it briefly, then we break back down through the same price level shortly thereafter. Around noon, out of a decline, there's a fast sudden move higher, and then we have more decline. Yeah, okay, so yeah, so you want it for Verizon, you want to take the opportunity in the midst of an early morning rally to position oneself for a downturn. Verizon falls pretty hard after it reaches that distant resistance level early morning, and it looks like it declines further the following day pretty hard. Yeah, you got it, man. Yeah, recommended, my friend. Alright, guys, I'm gonna roll. Thank you all for watching. Um, as always, remember, when you make that money, follow the rule of karma. Make sure you're spending that money out of love. The universe will send it back to you tenfold in all directions, my friends. I'll see you tomorrow.